It was a late October evening. Michael was returning home from an important business meeting in a neighboring city. Tired, he decided to take a shortcut through the old town. The GPS led him through the narrow streets, and soon Michael realized he was lost. Suddenly, his car stalled right at the entrance to an old cemetery. No matter how hard Michael tried, the car would not start. His cell phone didn't work either, not a single signal. "Great," Michael muttered. "I'll have to find help on foot." He got out of the car and looked around. The only source of light was the full moon hanging over the cemetery. Michael decided to walk through the cemetery. It seemed like the shortest way to the city. As he entered the cemetery grounds, the fog began to thicken around his feet. The silence was oppressive, with only the wind rustling the fallen leaves. Michael sped up his pace, feeling inexplicably anxious. Suddenly he saw the silhouette of a woman near one of the graves. As he approached, Michael froze in shock. It was his late wife, Sarah, who had died 5 years earlier. "Sarah?" he whispered in disbelief. The woman turned, and Michael saw her pale face and sad eyes. "Michael," she said softly, "you finally came." Michael could not believe his eyes. He rubbed them, thinking he was hallucinating, but Sarah was still standing in front of him. "This isn't possible," he mumbled. You're dead." "Yes, I am," Sarah replied with a sad smile. "But we're all here, Michael, waiting for you." His heart sank as he recognized them. They were his children, Emily and Jason, who had died with Sarah in the car accident. "Daddy," they exclaimed joyfully, running up to him. Michael fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He hugged his children, feeling their cold bodies. "How is this possible?" he asked, looking at Sarah. "We were always here, Michael," she replied, "waiting for you. Now we can be together again." Michael felt a strange sense of peace envelop him. He was no longer afraid, cold, or tired. All he wanted was to be with his family. Michael looked at Sarah, and she held out her hand to him. Without hesitation, he took it. At that moment, everything around him dissolved into a bright light. Michael opened his eyes abruptly. He was lying in a hospital bed, surrounded by medical devices. His brother, David, was sitting next to him. "Michael, you're finally awake," David exclaimed with relief. "You had an accident 3 months ago," David explained. "You were in a coma. The doctors didn't give you much hope." Michael slowly realized the reality. The accident, the coma, the dream of meeting his family at the cemetery. Everything was mixed in his head. "I'm so sorry, brother," David said, squeezing his hand. "I know how much you miss them. But you have to move on. It's what they would have wanted." Michael closed his eyes, remembering his strange dream. Was it just a dream? Or was it something more? He did not know the answer, but he felt that this event had changed him forever. When he opened his eyes again, there was a new determination in them. Michael realized that he had been given a second chance at life, and he would use it to do something meaningful, something his family could be proud of. Jake Summers always dreamed of becoming a famous YouTuber. At the age of 16, he already had a channel with a few thousand subscribers, but it wasn't enough. He wanted to create something truly viral, something that would make him an internet sensation. The idea came out of the blue. There were rumors at school about an old abandoned house on the outskirts of the city. It was said to be haunted by the ghost of the old owner, who died under mysterious circumstances. Jake decided this was his chance. "I'm going to film a real ghost," he announced to his friends, Emily and Mark. "It's going to be the bomb." Emily looked at him skeptically. "Jake, ghosts aren't real. It's a stupid idea." But Mark was excited. "Dude, this is going to be awesome. I'm in." The next Friday night, Jake, armed with a camera and flashlights, went to the old house with Mark. Emily refused to go, saying she had a bad feeling about it. The house looked exactly like a horror movie, a sloping roof, broken windows, creaking doors. Jake turned on the camera and started his ghost vlog. Hey guys, today Mark and I are going to meet a real ghost. Subscribe and like us. They entered the house. It was dark inside and smelled like mold. Jake and Mark slowly moved through the rooms, lighting their way with flashlights. It's creepy in here, Mark whispered. Don't be a coward, Jake replied, though he could feel the shivers running down his spine. Suddenly they heard a sound upstairs, as if someone was walking on the old floor. Did you hear that? Mark asked in a trembling voice. Yes, Jake answered, trying to hide his own fear. Let's check it out. They climbed the stairs, which creaked menacingly under their feet. The second floor was even darker. Hello, is anyone there? Jake called out, trying to make his voice sound confident for the camera. Suddenly, the door at the end of the corridor slammed shut. Mark screamed and ran down the stairs. Jake was left alone, trembling with fear, but still holding the camera. Yeah, you guys, I think there's really something here, he whispered into the camera. He slowly approached the closed door. His hand trembled as he reached for the handle. Taking a deep breath, he abruptly opened the door. And at that moment, he was surrounded by bright light and shouts of "Surprise!" Jake blinked in surprise. All of his friends, including Emily and Mark, were standing in the room with balloons and cake. On the wall was a poster that said, "Happy birthday, Jake." What? What's going on? He asked, still not believing his eyes. Emily walked over to him, smiling. We decided to throw you a surprise birthday party. We knew you wouldn't turn down the chance to see a ghost. But the sounds? The door slamming shut? Mark laughed. That was just me. I played my part as the frightened friend and then ran over here to help with the final preparations. Jake couldn't believe it. All his fear was replaced with joy and gratitude. You're the best friends in the world, he said, feeling tears welling up in his eyes. But that's not all, Emily said. We recorded everything on a hidden camera. Your reaction was priceless. Jake realized that his dream had come true, though not in the way he had expected. The video of his frightened reaction and unexpected surprise went viral, and his channel gained hundreds of thousands of new subscribers. But most importantly, he realized that the real value is not in online fame, but in friends who are willing to do something special for him. From that day on, Jake changed the direction of his channel. Instead of ghost hunting, he started making videos about friendship, kindness, and unexpected surprises for people. And it made him not just popular, but truly happy. Emily and Ashley Parker were identical twins, indistinguishable. They lived in the small town of Oakville, Oregon, and were inseparable until their 13th birthday. On that fateful day, the girls decided to go for a bike ride near Blue Pine Lake. Emily looked away for a moment, and when she turned her head, Ashley was gone. The search lasted for several days, but Ashley's body was never found. Police assumed she had fallen into the lake and drowned. A year passed. Emily tried to move on with her life, but her longing for her sister never let go. Her parents, John and Sarah, were too absorbed in their own grief to notice how their daughter was slowly sinking into depression. Everything changed the night before the twins' 14th birthday. Emily woke up in the middle of the night feeling a strange pull. She got out of bed and walked to the bathroom as if guided by an invisible force. When Emily turned on the light and looked in the mirror, she saw Ashley, not her reflection. Her sister looked exactly the same as a year ago, but her eyes were cold and empty. "Happy birthday, sis," Ashley said with a wry smile. Emily closed her eyes, thinking it was a dream. But when she opened them again, Ashley was still there. "You have no idea how lonely it is to be on the other side," Ashley continued. "I missed you so much, my mom and dad. I missed life." From that day on, Ashley began to appear in every reflection. At first, Emily was excited to be able to communicate with her sister again. She told Ashley about school, about her friends, about everything that had happened this year. But gradually, Emily noticed a change in her sister's behavior. Ashley became more and more demanding and angry. She blamed Emily for her death, saying that if Emily had been more attentive, it wouldn't have happened. "You should have been in my place," Ashley often repeated. "It's not fair that you're living and I'm stuck here." Emily tried to avoid mirrors, but Ashley found ways to appear everywhere, in windows, on the phone screen, even in other people's eyes. One night, Emily woke up and saw Ashley standing by her bedside. The ghost of her sister was translucent, but quite tangible. "Come with me, Emily," Ashley whispered. "Let's go swimming in the lake together, forever." Emily realized that Ashley wanted to drag her into Blue Pine Lake. She screamed, waking her parents. When John and Sarah ran into the room, Ashley was gone, but Emily saw her reflection in the window, angry, with eyes full of hatred. Emily told her parents about Ashley. At first they didn't believe her, thinking it was a manifestation of grief. But when Sarah saw Ashley herself in the bathroom mirror, there was no doubt. The Parkers turned to a local psychic, Miss Rosalinda. She explained that Ashley's spirit was stuck between worlds because of her sudden death and unresolved issues. "She envies the living and wants to return," said Miss Rosalinda. "But the only way for her to do that is to take the place of someone alive, and Emily is her easiest target." Ms. Rosalinda performed a ritual to protect the Parker home and Emily from Ashley's influence. She also taught Emily how to strengthen her mind against her sister's attacks. But Ashley didn't give up. She continued to appear to Emily in her dreams, whispering, tempting her to join her. Emily fought back. She started seeing a psychologist to deal with the trauma and guilt. She also found solace in art, drawing her emotions and fears. Months passed. Ashley's visits became less and less frequent, but Emily knew that her sister was still there, waiting for a moment of weakness. On their 15th birthday, Emily decided to return to Blue Pine Lake. She was standing on the shore looking out over the water when she saw Ashley's reflection next to her. "You can still join me," Ashley said. "We could be together forever." Emily shook her head. "I love you, Ashley. I always will. But my place is here, among the living, and your place is to move on. Please let go of your anger and find peace." For a moment, something like understanding flashed in Ashley's eyes. Then her image trembled and slowly dissolved into the water of the lake. Emily didn't know if it was the end or just a break in their confrontation. But she felt that something had changed. She returned home knowing that whatever the future held, she was ready to face it.